When all else fails, give thanks. Let's talk about that on today's 10-Minute Talk. Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to today's 10-Minute Talk. My name is Pastor Jay Wentworth, and I happen to be the lead pastor at Spirit Alive Wesleyan Church in Yakima, Washington. So the really interesting thing is this. God almost always prompts me in what he wants me to talk about on Monday morning for these 10-minute talks. Almost always. In fact, I don't think I've ever had to just manufacture something. He gives me a situation. He cues me off on something that has happened in the world during the week. And believe me, there's plenty of stuff going on in the world. He like is an additive to my message sometimes that I give on Sunday morning, or a preview of the message the following Sunday morning. But I've been praying, and I got nothing today. And here's what I know. When we're waiting for God, sometimes we spend that time in frustration. Sometimes we spend that time not knowing what to do. Sometimes we spend that time like wondering where God is or why God isn't doing anything. And here's what I want you to do. Right now, I guarantee you 99% of you are in a season of waiting for something in your life. For what? I don't know, because I'm not you. But for something to happen, for something to go down, for something to break for you, and maybe even break against you. You're worried about something. You're anxious about something happening. And this is what I've learned from David in the Psalms. In your waiting, do nothing but rejoice. You have the same God that was there when you weren't waiting. The same God that you pray to every day. The same God that has saved millions of souls, billions of souls. The same God that loves you unconditionally and gives you grace. No matter if you're waiting or if he's active, it's the same God. He has not changed. He is consistent forever. And so in your waiting, rejoice. In your waiting, give thanks that you know that God is going to come through. But here's the problem, friends. When we're waiting, sometimes we're waiting for things that aren't godly. Sometimes we're waiting for things that are our will instead of his will. And he makes it really clear in the book of James, God does, that we're going to get what we ask for if we ask for it in the will of God, in a righteous way. And sometimes we just don't know his will. And so when we get a no, we have some choices to make. If you've waited a long time for something positive to happen and the answer ends up being no from God, what it simply means, friends, is not that God hates you or doesn't want you to have what you desire, but instead that if you would have gotten that, it would have moved you away from him. God will not put things in your life that will move you away from him on his accord. Now, you can choose to move away from him because of things. But everything he puts in your life is meant to bring you closer to him. Yes, even the sufferings. In fact, I would almost always say more the sufferings than the easy things. Because the sufferings cause you to reach for something bigger. And that's why I'm saying while you wait, give thanks. Because sometimes there is suffering in waiting. And in that waiting, give thanks that the God that you are waiting for is still there. The God that you are waiting for has already won, has already come through, and will come through again. Give thanks. And so I challenge you this week, friends. I challenge you so much to give thanks in everything, especially though in your waiting. And I know that's hard because we are such impatient creatures. But if patience is a fruit of the Spirit, then we must exhibit it. And joy in your waiting exhibits trust and faith in God. And maybe that's just the test that God is giving you right now. You grow your faith in your waiting. Just as the 9 months where a mother is waiting, that baby is growing. Let's grow like that. But remember, when you're waiting for that baby, mothers, fathers, families, that baby is being nourished. That baby is growing while you're waiting because it's ingesting what is being given to it by its mother, from its father. And so here, friends, I ask you, while you're waiting, make sure you are still ingesting God. You are still taking in His word. You are still breathing and living and drinking and eating in His body and His blood. You are gathering together. You are studying His word. You are spending time with Him in prayer while you're waiting. And it's funny because we say we're waiting for God to do something. And in reality, if we're doing our job as Christians as He commanded us to do, He is doing something while we're waiting. He's growing us. If we're in our word, if we're treating people like Jesus, He's not waiting. We're not waiting. He's moving while we're waiting so we can grow. And whatever it is we're waiting for, maybe He's doing it in the moment we're waiting and we don't even realize it. And that is the beauty of God, as He is always working behind the scenes. Even when we feel like nothing is happening, everything is happening. And more often than not, more is happening when we think nothing is happening, because that's how God works in mysterious ways, higher than we can understand. And in our waiting, we should find the joy in the fact that God is growing us while we patiently wait for His next big move in our lives. Funny enough, I started this video thinking I was waiting for God to tell me something to share. And I've just shared what I didn't know He wanted me to. And that, my friends, is God in action. Man, we have a beautiful, amazing Lord. Be thankful in your waiting this week, friends. We love you. Have a great one. Be blessed.